Oh, goody.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Zombies here again, and today we're back with another Marvel Snap video. So in this one, we got a little bit of an update on what is going on with the new Leagues feature. I put out a video earlier today, a few hours ago, going over it, but since then there have been some pretty big developments in terms of what's going on with Leagues, including a way where users have found kind of a proving grounds communism to the next level to really inflate those points. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this, let people know what's going on if you're wondering why someone at the very top or two people at the very top have so many more points than everyone else in the league leaderboard. So to understand what's going on here, we need to understand how points work in leagues. And points are awarded in leagues. You get 100 points when you win. And when you lose, you don't lose any points just for losing. But you do lose points from the amount of cubes you lose. If you win cubes, you get 25 points per cube won. And if you lose cubes, you lose 25 points per cube loss. This is in addition to the plus 100 points you get for a win. Now, well, the Marvel Snap community is nothing if not resourceful. And people very quickly figured out, hey, I can just go in a proving grounds game, concede, get my opponent to concede. We're both gaining more than we're losing by doing this. So as long as those two players aren't competing for the same spot in the same league, which most people aren't, this just gets a ton of points for both players in their respective leagues. And you really don't have to do anything. And it's also a bonus because you can get some of those annoying alliance missions with bad cards out of the way doing this too. So this has been very quickly adopted by the community. So if you're wondering what happened to snapping for 8 improving grounds and why people are insta-retreating, now you know why. Basically, people will often fist bump and Spider-Man point, concede, do the emote again, and then hope the other player responds in kind. If they do, players go back and forth until they're both down to that last bar, and then, in my experience, people seem to just play out that final game for that last bit of bonus points. So, yeah, this is something where it blows my mind that this is not something they thought could happen in testing. This always had the potential to be an issue with the current way they've done this system, and it was really figured out rather quickly. So I'm a little surprised they didn't catch this, but also at the same time I'm not super surprised because if you remember the Deadpool's Diner and the video I did about that covering the bot exploit, the Snap community is very resourceful at exploiting the game systems, especially when there are things that are perceived as valuable on the line. This league is only cosmetic stuff, but people really want that cosmetic stuff. So people are doing what they feel they have to realistically compete. And unfortunately, it really does put people who aren't doing this on a very uneven playing field. Will Second Dinner do something about this? Maybe. There was a little bit of leeway time with the bots in Deadpool's Diner before they fixed that exploit. But it's worth mentioning that Deadpool's Diner was both around for longer and that exploit got more popularized on the weekend when they probably weren't easily able to access and fix things because, you know, they weren't in the office. So with this leagues being, you know, a 2-day thing and happening during the work week, I will not be surprised if this is something they end up patching out via a hotfix tomorrow, whether that's just removing proving grounds from leagues, whether that is removing conquest from leagues altogether. Who's to know? Who's to say? Maybe they don't even do it. I don't know. But I would imagine, given their prior behavior, they probably do something like that. However, if we look to that as an example of how they handle this type of thing, anyone who did take advantage of this situation, they basically got the bonus, and that was it. Like, they didn't have anything retroactively taken away from them. So going off of past precedent, it seems unlikely that that is going to happen this time. It could. Nobody knows for sure. But we don't know what their infrastructure looks like for the leagues. We don't know if they have an easy way of identifying who did this, who didn't do it. Some might say, oh, you could just reset the league fully so that way, and obviously fix the thing people are doing here, and then reset the league and just have it go for the 2 days. But then that's really punishing to the people who grinded it out legitimately. So there's not a great answer here, and I don't know what they're going to do. keep an eye out in the comments if you're watching this a little bit later, because if there is an update and they do something, I will put an update down there. But I just wanted to get this information out there because it's getting popular very quickly and is just an incredibly efficient way to farm the league. Now, I do want to mention this is not the only thing that was kind of wrong with leagues. I think in general, another thing that probably isn't going to get as much critique because most people aren't like thinking about it, but basically leagues kind of rewards you for not rushing your infinite climb because you get bots before you get to infinite. So if someone tanks their rank or decides to hold off on doing their climb, they can have an easier time getting those big 8 cube wins and getting bonus points by not being in infinite where there are no bots. So I think like the idea of leagues isn't a bad thing, but the way they constructed it, there is just a whole lot of potential for abuse even outside of the kind of win trading trick that players have used to spike up their points. It just feels like this wasn't super well thought out, and I'm a little surprised, but not super surprised that Second Dinner clearly hasn't learned their lesson here, and they really have to, I don't know, test their game before they ship it to the live. I mean, I guess they did run a test of the leagues, and that didn't come up there, but the test was also pretty different from the one we have now, since they had those like point booster and shields, I believe. So it was a little bit different than the one we have now. Obviously, the rewards were different too, and that was like a limited testing in some regions. But yeah, I just wanted to get the information out there because I know it's something people are wondering about what's going on. Now you know. Should this be something you do? That's up to you to decide. But I do think the longer it is out there and the more people do it, the more kind of pressure there is for people to feel like they have to do this to keep up, which is a bit of an unfortunate thing. But it is what it is. I think Second Dinner kind of has to own this as their mistake because, well, end of the day, they are the ones making the game, and it is kind of their job to foresee these types of things happening. I mean, it really isn't rocket science. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm curious to hear it. And if you enjoyed it, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.